So just so you know, I still have to look at my notes, but anything could be real thing.
Oh boy. Wait, that means my dreams are possible.
Everything's possible from here on out. That's amazing. Wait, is our podcast like bringing dreams to life?
I mean, it depends on what podcast I feel like.
Well, I think this podcast.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we're bringing dreams to reality. Man, you know what? It'd be really cool because there's a bunch of shit out there.
There is a lot of shit out there, but there's also a lot of, like, not shit.
Right.
So whatever the opposite of shit would be.
You know what we're going to do on this podcast?
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about not shit.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we'll talk about all the stuff that isn't shit.
Okay.
The real world isn't real. It's all edited anyhow.
It's all false. We secretly live in the Matrix or like a VR.
Do you think we do?
I don't know. I don't really want to know. Like, honestly, if we live in the Matrix, I'm pretty happy as I am. You know, like, I feel like life is on an upturn, so I would like to live blissfully ignorant.
Ooh, Homer Simpson does. He's like super, like, doesn't give a hell what happens, which I don't think anyone has ever said give a hell, but I did. And like, seriously, he doesn't care, and he's really happy.
I mean, is he? Because he's also like an alcoholic, which I feel like isn't the sign of a happy person.
Okay, point taken. Point taken. Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
But ignorance kind of is bliss a lot of times because it's such a crazy world, you know?
Totally. Well, it's kind of like the whole like escapism. Like, you know, if you don't look at it, it's not there kind of an idea.
Yeah.
Where if you don't know that something exists, it can't hurt you. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
It's tricky because like how much of it is the putting the head in the sand.
Yeah.
And then you're in trouble because you weren't paying attention.
Absolutely.
And then how much of it is like, well, it's already fucked, so I might as well just like
keep my head here in the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be fun to be in the sand though.
No, yeah.
See, that seems
like, you know, people talk about like having sex in the sand, and I've like never understood that because like
Can
you know,
we talk about that for a minute?
Absolutely. Like,
that is terrible idea.
Well, like a lot of people are like, oh my God, the beach, so romantic. Like even if you bring like a blankie or a tent or whatever the hell you're gonna bring, like stuff's gonna like sand is like the herpes of just like glitter is the herpes of like craft materials.
Okay.
Sand is like the herpes of nature. It's just gonna
sure
get
is.
everywhere.
Yeah, it really does.
You
It's
know?
small rocks.
Yeah, no, that's
it's like
literally
miniature rocks.
It's literally ground up. It's like coffee grounds just all over your body, which is great for exfoliating.
Right.
But
If you're
like,
oh yeah, I do that. I do that
I
like
do that
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. It like pushes on your maybe why I'm so young looking.
There you go.
Hello.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, yeah, you were doing that. That makes sense. If you're like trying to hang out with a lady or a guy,
yeah,
and you're like, let's have a fun time.
Probably not the best.
The
place
stones
to do
are
that.
going to your butt.
Yeah, well, and other places.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's
Gotta go
right.
to the hospital.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you'd have to go to the hospital, but it sure would be uncomfortable.
Depends on where they go.
I mean, that's true.
And here's the podcast. So I'm here with Kupakins.
Hello.
Real name Ari.
That's right. Your real name is Carlos.
It is.
I learned that today.
Yeah, we both learned each other's names. What happens on Twitter, like we were talking about at the bar, is that like you don't know the people really.
No, you're like, hi, this is my friend. Oh shit, what's their real name?
The Twitter name person. Yeah,
right,
that's
yeah.
them.
Yeah, and then you're like, friends not from the internet are like, this is fucking weird.
Right. And that might be like the first time that's kind of happened.
Totally.
Right? Like, so when I was growing up, because I'm old, there was none of this kind of like secondary layer of reality.
Right.
Right? It was just like, oh yeah, James is over there on the street corner and let's go hang out with him or whatever.
As far as it would get, I feel like is like nicknames.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like everybody in the neighborhood would know that nickname. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, oh, this is my friend, you know, Sailor Steve.
Sailor Steve is what you went with?
I don't know. I didn't have any nicknames.
Hashtag
as a
Sailor
kid,
Steve.
Right? Like, hey, there you go.
By the way, this world's so crazy and there's so many people on the planet. There's a hashtag Sailor Steve.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
so shout out to him.
Shout out to Mr. Steve, the sailor man.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, what is your sailor life bringing you?
It's true. We met through the Twitter, which is this kind of virtual world.
Yeah.
But I just love meeting people, and I was like, oh, you know Kinsey?
Yeah.
Ish. Like 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like friends with a friend of hers, and like we do cosplay stuff together because I do cosplay.
You do cosplay. Let's talk about cosplay for a
Yeah.
minute. So this podcast is about entertainment, and cosplay is entertainment. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of work. Let me tell you.
It seems crazy. I've seen a bunch of reality shows,
Oh yeah,
right? And the ones that don't get too like
dramatic.
Dramatic,
Yeah, no,
thank
I know
you.
where you're going with it.
I like a lot because I
Yeah.
love seeing the process. And I do
Yeah.
know a lot of cosplayers myself. So
Yeah,
like what's the process for you? Do you feel like is it's not easy, it sounds like, but also it's totally worth it because it's your outlet.
Totally. Yeah. So the thing that I like about, because I also used to stream on Twitch, and the thing that really like drew me more to cosplay over the Twitch thing is like with Twitch, and we can talk about this more later if you would like to, but with Twitch, it's kind of like you don't really have anything physical that you can look at to be like, I'm doing a good job. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But with cosplay, it's like you have your photographs, you have your outfits, you have those things that you can look at and be like, this is a thing that I did. And you kind of get that reward, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I really enjoy like making something and going to cons and like getting cool photos, but also like meeting people who have the same like fondness of whatever it is that I'm cosplaying as. And like that's my favorite part is you make so many friends because you're like, oh my God, I love My Hero Academia, or like I love Overwatch. Like let's talk about how great it is, or let's talk about our favorite ships and be really gross together. Like
Yeah. No, My Hero Academia, by the way, is on my list of what I'm
oh my
supposed
God.
to start.
Oh, you have to.
My friend tells me like I have to.
Oh my God. So I actually last night finished the 3rd season and like I legit almost started crying. Like he was in the other
What?
room and I was like, oh
Is it so is it all on Netflix?
no. On Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu.
Yeah, and
okay.
so the first 2 seasons they have the dub of, but because the 3rd season just came out, they haven't done the dub of that yet.
Okay.
I will watch dub. I know there's like a huge controversy in the anime world. Like, you know, like there are kind of like anime elitists who will only watch the sub.
Right.
I don't have time to be an elitist. So if I'm going to be watching something while I'm working on something, it's going to be a dub because I
Right,
can't
because you
read.
can't look at the screen.
Yeah, I can't
all the
read
time.
while I'm like sewing.
Yeah.
I have sewn through my finger before and I don't want to do that
Ooh.
again.
Is
Yeah.
there a scar?
No, actually, like it was on this finger and it went through the nail. But like it pivoted in a way where it like totally missed my bone.
Oh my goodness, I might throw up in my mouth.
Please don't. I mean, I guess in
Okay,
your
I
mouth
did.
would be
I did.
fine.
I did. Yeah.
But yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Now the joke is in my household that if you don't cry or bleed over a cosplay, then you really don't care about it.
Right. You're not like really doing it right. That's it's just serious business there. But it brings me back to that idea of how much you love it. And I love that concept that you just said, which is true, is like this is the final product.
Totally.
So many things that, I mean, our shows, podcasts, streams, which I've done before, all that stuff is like the ether.
Absolutely.
And I feel like you do a new YouTube show, like this show will be out for like a week or something.
Yeah.
And then it's fucking gone.
Right?
People are like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't miss that. I missed that week. What's happening now?
Right.
But like with a picture for cosplay,
Yeah.
that's like fucking there.
Yeah, well, and the other thing too is like you create one outfit, you can shoot that outfit in so many different environments. You can get a bunch of different unique appearances in that outfit, and then like with my Witch Mercy, for example, I've got over 250 hours in that outfit alone. Because I keep like I've only been sewing for a year and I'm all self-taught. So everything that I do, I'm always improving upon. And like I actually recently learned how to create a proper corset, like instead of a zipper back, a laced back.
Ooh, yeah.
And so I ripped out the zipper for Witch Mercy and I added laces because then like when my size fluctuates, the corset still fits because
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah, because the issue that I have with zippers is when I'm like hardcore into Con Crunch, I have a really hard time with remembering to like eat food.
Oh,
and
no.
like not to the point where it's like unhealthy, but to the point where like I definitely, because I'm absolutely a glutton. Like that would be my sin. I love food. I'm a hardcore Hufflepuff, and sugar is my shit.
Okay,
So, like,
that's another topic for later on. 'Cause
yeah, but like
food is pretty amazing.
so like when I'm hardcore into like cosplays or like con season or anything, like I will likely like drop like 5 or 10 pounds, which it doesn't sound like a lot, but that's like an inch or so off of my waist.
Yeah.
And it makes it so that like the corset isn't going to fit properly. But then if you have the laces, you're solid.
Yeah, you can like
So-
pick whatever you're feeling, whatever's
exactly,
happening.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
So
So that is cool. I love that you love cosplay. I love people who do it, again, like you said, to really connect with people.
absolutely,
Like, it's fun for you to, be in this kind of different mindset, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And, like, you're a different character.
Totally.
But the other part is that you get to have people come up to you and be like, yeah, I do love also that thing.
Right.
Whatever
and,
that is.
Yeah, and you can like bond over it, and also like just meeting other cosplay friends. And I said being gross earlier, but like the joke is like, oh, you're anime trash, like you're garbage or whatever, like is for some reason like an anime thing. But
Is
like,
it?
Yeah, like it's like
You're anime
like,
trash?
So
That's
like
a thing?
like weeb trash. Like as on my Instagram I describe myself as weeb trash. It's totally a thing. Like people
Wow.
will be like actual garbage can as like a descriptor. Yeah. It's
Wait,
like
where's
not-
it come from, though?
It's more of like a joke than anything else, because like weeb used to be more of like a sort of like how nerd and geek kind of used to be like really negative. I feel
Okay.
like weeb used to be really negative also, and now we're like, no, like I'm totally weeb trash, like I'm definitely that thing.
Okay, do I need to literally Google weeb? Because I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, you could do that.
Because
it's
I'm-
short for weeaboo.
Weeb is a person that's not Japanese, but wishes they were.
Sure.
That's what it says.
I mean, that works.
They're obsessed with Japanese culture. Isn't that
Yeah.
just otaku? Like, is
so
it like nerdy
otaku
being?
is kind of like the elitist version of a weeb, I feel like.
This is too confusing.
I'm sorry, I'm confusing you. Hey, welcome to anime class.
I know.
Um,
I'm learning a lot more right now.
but-
Here's the funny, because I started with anime before it was like a thing. Like,
oh, so you're like an anime hipster, is what you're
oh
saying.
no, I didn't, the way I said that. I'll go this time. I usually kick people off the show, but now I'll go. No. I like watch Akira. You know what I mean? Like in old school stuff. Like
I definitely heard Shakira, not Akira.
I
and
definitely
was
watch
like,
Shakira because her hips. Hello.
I was like,
Don't watch Shakira.
wait, Shakira's an anime? I
Yeah,
mean,
she
okay.
could be. Anything can be an anime. But no, Akira, like just like old
Yeah.
films or whatever. And like, so there was never it. If anything, it was actually pretty nerdy to watch anime
Right.
when I was growing up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're like, what are you doing?
I mean, even when I was in like elementary and middle school, like back when Pokemon and Sailor Moon and Yu-Gi-Oh and like Dragon Ball Z, like it was still kind of like a nerdy thing, especially as you got like older and people are still watching anime. It was like, you're a nerd,
Right.
but it's like whatever.
Dude, I'm proud to be a weeb. I'm gonna be
Right?
weeb all over the
There you
place.
go.
Yeah, I'm a weeber.
Yeah.
That's not-
I don't think that's the term.
I'm making
yeah.
it a term.
You can try.
I'm a
Go
weeber.
for it.
Hashtag weeber. Carlos is a weeber. That's silly and ridiculous. Hey, we have birthdays that are really similar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when was yours?
Mine was actually yesterday, September 30th.
I was 26.
Oh yeah, the 20. I thought you asked me how was 26, and I was like,
Oh,
that's
how
not-
was 26?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
No, mine was
Yeah.
26 and yours 30th. So, I
So
don't know.
Libras, right?
Libras, yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing.
So, like, everybody else who's not a Libra, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. There's actually a lot of people that I've been meeting who are in like that September time frame.
Oh, yeah.
Like everybody that I've talked to recently, it's almost like, yeah, I have that birthday too, and I'm just like, where did you come from?
Speaking of where you're from, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
You are in Seattle now,
Yes.
but you were in California.
Yeah, I am born and raised in the just north of the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, you were born there. I didn't know
Yeah.
that either.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
My whole family is there.
So, what did you live in the SF proper, like in the downtown at all? Or?
I have lived in SF proper for a time, but like I am actually from Sonoma County, which is like
Oh,
two
I know
counties
Sonoma.
away.
Yeah.
So
Wine country.
wine country. Yeah, it was really bad because I didn't like, and I still don't really like wine, which is kind of really taboo when you grow up in wine country.
You were an outcaster. You were a wine weeb.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I say that?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
Wine not.
Exactly.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's definitely what
But
I said.
definitely had a sidecar. So Sonoma, didn't they have the fires there?
They
and everything?
did, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
everybody okay?
Everybody in my life was okay. They didn't lose anything, but they were also too poor to have anything to lose. So now it's just
All right.
an even playing field.
Right.
But yeah, they did definitely have friends who lost their homes, and it was pretty sad. But the silver lining is the guy who owns Safari West, which is like a really, really cool safari. Like it's what it sounds like. It's a safari out in wine country. You pay like something like $200 or something, but they put you on those Jeeps that are like actual safari Jeeps with like the 2 tiers. And they have like all kinds of animals that they like that couldn't be, they're like rehabilitating them or whatever, but like they can't go back to the wild, so they're just caring for them.
Interesting.
But they have like rhinos and like ostriches and Cape buffalo, which are actually horrifying. Like,
what's a cave buffalo?
A Cape buffalo is in Africa. They have, it's just a buffalo with like big horns, and you can actually like Google a YouTube video. I guess they can like buck you and like throw you like 12 feet into the air. Like they're one of the most deadly animals in
And they're in the
Africa.
Sonoma County.
And, well, yeah, like they have them in the Safari West, but it's like
Wow.
they're just really aggressive. Like they want to protect their young and stuff. But the people who own the place are really cool, and that was totally protected, and all the animals were like fine and stuff.
Okay.
I actually have like mad respect for the guy that owns it, because he ended up focusing all of his efforts on making sure that that place was safe, and he ended up losing his home because he was like taking care of the animals, and I'm like, mad respect for you.
Yeah, what's the name of his place? Do you know?
It's Safari West is
Safari
the
West is the
place.
name of it. Okay.
Yeah, and
because it's just like a .com or Google,
yeah, you
Safari
can
West.
absolutely Google it. It's
Cool.
in officially it's in Calistoga. And
Okay.
like I said, they have all kinds of cool stuff. And I saw baby zebras.
I had no idea that was out there.
I saw
That's
a
crazy.
baby zebra walk for the first time.
Oh my goodness.
Like it had just been born.
Okay, let's just talk about that for half a second. Horses and zebras, it's all that, whatever that family is of animal, which I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
They just come out fully formed.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's a mammal
They're
thing.
like, yeah, it's a mammal thing. They're like, you know what, I'm fine. Never mind. I'll walk.
Well, you want to know
good.
the craziest thing is giraffes have a 5-foot drop when they're born. Yeah, I used to be really, really into Animal Planet, so like, and giraffes used to be my favorite animal. So giraffes will actually fall 5 feet when they're born. So, like not all giraffes survive, because they'll like literally break their neck when they're born.
Oh, that's depressing.
Well, no, but then like so now every giraffe that you see that's alive is like a survivor and is super
they
dope.
made it. So you worked at Maker for a little while.
Yeah, not very long, but yeah, it was short lived.
How was that?
I actually got hired in during the acquisition, because I'm not sure if you are familiar, but they got bought by Disney, and they actually no longer exist.
Oh shit! Really?
Maker is now Disney Digital, and last year they laid off something like 80 to 120 people. Like they laid off most of their staff. But like for the most part, everybody that I know either still works there or has someplace better. Because it is such a resume booster, because it was a very well-known company for the time. But yeah, it was really cool. I met a lot of really cool people. It was definitely a good experience for me, but I would not necessarily recommend an MCN to anybody out there who
because
is
it's
looking
trouble.
for it.
Yeah. Well, I remember they did that Maker Fair too. Were you ever a part of that or no? There was like a kind of a conference or an event where they like had a bunch of maker stuff at like somewhere in California, I want to say. You might not know that.
I don't necessarily know about that. I know that Maker Studios had
I think it was separate from the studios. That's
it's
probably why.
possible.
Yeah, it's Maker Fair. I think it still happens.
Oh, a Maker Fair is different from Maker Studios, because when we were at D23, people kept coming up and asking, because I used to help like work booths, and like I was like an event coordinator, so I did event stuff.
Right.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, is this like a maker shop where you can like go and make?" Because that's like a term for, technically I'm a maker, because I make costumes, and they were talking about some Maker Faire, so I think that maybe that's what that is. But
So it's separate because Maker Faire is an event created by Make Magazine, is what it says here on YouTube.
Yeah, I
So
don't know
that's
what that
totally
is. I think
different.
it's totally separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got those confused because when I heard Maker Studios, I thought, being in California, that it was part of the Maker.
No,
thing.
yeah. So Maker Studios was a YouTube management company, basically. So
Okay,
it was like a talent agency, but for YouTubers.
Machinima style kind of way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Machinima, Full Screen, Curse, all those.
I got courted by Full Screen.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. You want like a bunch of my stuff.
Right. Yeah,
I was
MCNs
confused.
in general, like unless you're making the big bucks and you don't want to manage your own stuff, I don't really feel like it's super beneficial.
Right.
But
And it's funny because that's actually how I got my start when I was, we were talking pre-podcast about stuff I did in California.
yeah.
A lot of those shows that I did were basically the creation or the beginning of an MCN.
Yeah.
It's like a network of shows, and there was like in-house shows, and then there was third-party shows.
So was
And that's
it
what we were
kind
doing.
of like a Geek and Sundry or
Yeah,
okay.
it was Geek and Sundry and all that stuff before those.
Yeah.
It was called Mevio, the company.
Okay.
And they worked. We were similar to Revision 3, if you ever heard of them.
Rev 3. Okay, yeah.
So it was all that same time period, and we were just like, we had a bunch of shows that we did in house,
Yeah.
and then we did a bunch of shows that we, contracted out,
Okay.
and those people we worked with and stuff like. So it worked. It's always about, and it still is about, how you want to respect your creators.
Totally.
And how much money you're going to give them.
Totally.
And how much you're going to destroy them
Oh
when
my
it comes to
gosh.
those percentages.
This reminds me so hardcore of Patreon right now.
Which, by the way, hold on. It is patreon.com/Kupakins.
It's true.
That's your Patreon.
That's my Patreon.
I looked it up.
So if you're looking for anything boudoir or lewd content, or you just want to be a cool person and help support me.
That's a bet. Yes, you should do that. Because supporting people is really important.
It's true.
Because all of us that create stuff, we want to do it because we love it.
Absolutely.
And everybody out there who's watching who does the same thing is doing it because they just feel compelled that they have to.
Right. Like when I don't do something creative for a couple of days even, I start going crazy. I get so irritable. It's kind of absurd, like when you think about it, how much it affects like your being, your existence when you don't have that creative outlet, and it can be anything from just drawing, like doodling or coloring or something, to making a full outfit or whatever, you know. But I always used to think that I was because I'm technically an accountant, as we talked about.
We did talk about that pre-podcast.
And so like I always was on that path, and I was like under the mindset that I like wasn't creative at all, and that I couldn't be creative because society kind of pushes this ideal that you are either really creative and crafty or you're really smart, and that they don't really coexist. You know what I mean? And so I had kind of always thought like, well, everybody says that I'm smart, I'm doing really well in school, so that's where I need to be going. And then once I started doing more creative stuff, I started getting into cosplay. I was like, no, this is what I really like. I don't really want to be doing that stuff, you know? And so I think that that's really interesting too, because I was influenced by like societal expectations, I guess. And
you're really good at accounting then. Like you can like fucking account the shit up of stuff.
I mean, accounting is basically just like a math lawyer. So, yes and no. Once upon a time, I was very knowledgeable, but I have not necessarily kept up with the research required. I can bookkeep like no other.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's important. I tell you what, though, it's funny because now with the digital era, there's so much stuff that just gets like done in software.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right?
I mean, yes and no. Like there's a lot of human entry that needs to happen. So a lot of times it's like making sure that there aren't credit card people just like randomly charging stuff, and like, you
need eyeballs still.
Exactly. Yeah, because you can't trust those dang machines.
Those dang machines, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I love that voice, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
So patreon.com/Kupakins, but Patreon actually was an SF when they were created.
Oh,
I
really?
met like, what's his butt?
I don't even know.
I always forget his name. I met him and I forgot his name is.
But
I met them and I was at like a show. Him and his lady do band stuff. They do music stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they were incredible and really friendly and nice.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to do this thing where we just like help creators create things.
Yeah.
And I was like literally at a show and they were like launching it. I was like, this is going to change fucking everything.
Right.
Because it's a place to do it. That being said, after it got caught on and after everybody in the world said like, I should do that too. Would you consider it too crowded of a market now? And like,
I don't necessarily think it's too crowded of a market. I think that Patreon, like as a company, needs to figure out what the fuck they're doing. Because as a creator, and this is very prevalent in the cosplay community, because if you're a cosplayer, almost every cosplayer has a Patreon. Cosplay is really expensive, especially if you want to do it. I'm not going to say right, because it's like, I don't want to be that person who's like, this is the right way, this is the wrong way. But like the way that I want to cosplay, I want to make things that look really, really authentic. Like my next big project is going to be Anastasia's Once Upon a December gown. But I want to do it like with upholstery fabric, with like really, really intricate, like fabric a princess would wear, not just like a yellow dress that's, $6 a yard.
Yeah.
I want to make it look expensive, and that costs money.
Yeah, totally.
So like
these are all like physical goods you have to get.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then like if you make a mistake, you have to get more. You know what I mean?
People don't talk about mistakes in cosplay. That happens a lot, eh?
Well, yeah, especially when you're like teaching yourself, you know what I mean? And like part of the reason that I was streaming a lot of my cosplay on Twitch back when I did that was, there's a lot of barriers to entry to cosplay. And I really don't like that. Like I wanted to cosplay for a really long time before I actually did. And like even, my friend Super Pixel Girl wanted to cosplay, but she was really afraid of the community in cosplay. And I've not heard that, and I have heard that from a lot of other people. Like it's a very common theme. Like a lot of people want to get into it, but they're afraid of the community, because there are kind of two different people in the community. There are the people who are like, cosplays for everybody. And then there are the people who are like, you have to cosplay only characters that you look like, only characters with your body type. They have all of these like really stupid internal rules.
Yeah, who are those people?
And so like, it's just like, I think that cosplay should be something that's fun. Like, I would love to turn cosplay into a career, but ultimately, like, I'm going to treat it like a career because I want to turn it into that. But ultimately, like, it's a fun thing and it should be fun. And if you're going to be essentially picking on people who are trying to get into cosplay because you, like, have these weird ideals that you want to like push on other people, like it's just silly. And so I really wanted to create a space where people could come and ask questions and like get into the community and like kind of show people that you do make mistakes. Like I make mistakes all the time.
Right.
Like there are probably a bazillion Twitch clips of me like cussing because I did something wrong and I have to rip the seam and I have to re-sew it. And especially if it's a fabric where you can't really rip a seam without destroying the fabric, like that's where like more money would come in. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So it's definitely, it's a learning experience and it's a lot of fun, but mistakes always happen. And what my grandpa says is it's not a mistake if you learn from it.
Is that how he says it in that voice? Can we do it again? Just do it in his voice.
Oh God, he's like.
It was probably pretty close. I like how that was.
I mean, he's from New York, so he kind of has a New York accent.
Let me tell you. I talk like that.
He talks just like that.
So what was the saying again?
It's not a mistake if you learn from it.
It's not a mistake if you learn from it. All right?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's pretty close.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll talk later. Have him call me up. No, I really appreciate that. And I don't appreciate the people who say it has to be done a certain way, because that is ridiculous in any art form.
Totally.
There's a game that I did social media for that some people watching know. It was called Lifeline.
Okay.
It's an incredible series of interactive fiction games.
Uh-huh.
And in that, the main character, Taylor, didn't have a gender or race or anything.
Okay.
And what was fun about that is everybody did artwork and fan art any way they wanted.
That's kind of like, I haven't personally listened to The Adventure Zone, but that's super popular.
Right.
And like Taco's character, I see a lot of cosplays at cons, and they're always so diverse and unique, but I also can always like, you're Taco. I haven't listened to the podcast,
interesting. Yeah.
but I know the character because It's like an elf character with an umbrella and a big like witch hat, but then like everybody will add their own flair to
Right.
it and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
and it's really cool to see. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, like, it allows you to put your own thing on it. You know?
Exactly.
And again, at the end of the day, not to get too heavy, but I feel like that's all we want. Like, human beings want connection.
Absolutely.
Right? We find connection through entertainment, which is this podcast, and all the different shows and games we play and books we read. All those things are doing is connecting us.
Totally.
Like, I write a book about something, and you're like, and you read it, and you're like, oh, yeah.
Right.
I know that. Yeah, I've had that kind of
I
thing
relate to
happen.
that thing
Yeah.
that's happening.
So, yeah, totally. All right, so moving on. That's awesome. Cosplay is rad. Jack Conti is the guy's name who started Patreon. I met him and his lady, and they were both fucking awesome. And I really appreciate what they did and created that whole process for people to make money on the stuff they love doing.
But they still need to get their shit together.
But also, Jack Conti, get your shit together. And he's not listening anyhow. It's okay. So let's talk about, I wanted to bring this story up because talking to you on the internet a little bit, Twitter, cosplay, thinking about cosplay, I was thinking about things that I've done where I've like kind of changed my persona.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, this story's never been told on the show before.
Oh, yeah.
But I just thought about it today. Me and my brother would do this thing called, we're going to play We're the Men. Now, let me explain.
Okay.
It's like we were saying we're going to play the characters that we watch in shows or like cartoons and stuff.
Okay.
So I think what we called it We're the Men is because I grew up in the time of Knight Rider
Okay.
and Dukes of Hazzard.
Okay.
And this is my age, Magnum PI. That's super old. and Voltron and stuff like that, and X-Men. And so we would like go out in the backyard and like be the characters.
Yeah.
And like do like mini plays almost.
Aww.
Like of the thing or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And then I realized at some point, this is all like memories come back to you. I got to 12 or 13 or 14, and my brother still wanted to play it. He's 6 years younger than me.
Oh.
And he goes, I want to play We're the Men. And I was like, I don't. And then my mom would be like, Carlos, because she wants him out of her hair probably, right?
Right.
Carlos, go in the backyard and play We're the Men with Joe. I don't want to. That's like, I'm past We're the Men. But that's a funny story. We played characters in the backyard. Did you ever do something like that? Like you play it as a character?
I was actually like a hardcore tomboy as a kid. So I didn't actually make my first female friend until I was in like 4th grade, aside from my mom's best friend's daughter.
But did you go out in the back by yourself and do like little stories?
I caught like frogs.
Okay.
And I accidentally killed them.
Okay, wait, hold on. Never mind. My line of questioning is over. I thought I was going to get some sort of through line here, and it just went way off the rails.
No.
Well, I caught frogs and I killed them.
No, I didn't mean
Not
to.
purposely.
I didn't understand the
Wait, how'd you
greenhouse effect.
Well, now I want to know, how'd you kill them accidentally?
I put them in a soda bottle, and I didn't understand the greenhouse effect.
Whoa, but soda bottle? It's
like a
pretty
big
small.
one. No, like a 2-liter. And they were like tiny frogs.
Okay, baby frogs. Put them. Okay,
and,
I get it.
And like my parents wouldn't let me bring them out in the house, so I left them outside, and I didn't understand the greenhouse effect.
Oh, so you cooked the frogs?
So I cooked the frogs. I felt really bad.
I feel bad hearing.
This was like 2 decades ago, if it makes you feel any better.
It doesn't make me feel better. We're moving on. Oh.
Hi, I'm Kupakins, frog murderer.
I know. Maybe I'll cut it. Maybe I will cut it. Let's talk about stuff we're into. What are you into right now, like entertainment-wise?
Oh boy. So My Hero Academia I was talking about.
Right. I gotta watch that.
You really do. Oh my gosh. If you like X-Men, you will love My Hero Academia.
Right. I hear it's all about hey, can you make it? Yeah, you can. That doesn't make any sense, and I love how our audience member was like, I don't know what you mean. Let me explain. I'll leave. I normally kick people off the show, but I've kicked myself off the show twice.
Yeah, this is my show now, apparently.
I know. So what I mean by that is, like, it's one of those animes where, like, hey, is the main character gonna make it and beat the bad guys and get better at being awesome?
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Because I feel like there's a lot of animes that do that.
Yeah, so basically all anime are like My Magical High School. You know what I mean? Like, it's either like a sports anime, or it's like My Anime High School, which basically like they're all high schoolers, they're all magical in some kind of way. And yeah, like, and then you have like Yuri on Ice, which is just really amazing ice skating men who secretly want to have sex with each other.
Wait, I don't know that one.
Okay, yeah.
Yuri on Ice?
Yuri on Ice, yeah. So I guess a lot of people also, I found this out like 2 days ago because it never occurred to me. So Yuri is actually like, there's Yuri and Yaoi, and Yaoi is like boy on boy,
yeah.
and then Yuri is girl girl.
Oh.
And so they thought that it was like some lesbian like ice skating thing, and it's not. It's actually more along the lines of Yaoi, but it's like not like it's not explicit, and it's more hinted at than anything else, if that makes sense.
Okay. But also ice skating.
And I actually used to ice skate, so for me it's like really cool to see. And the art style is like Ghibli style art style.
I love that style.
The animations are just so detailed. I mean, like the detail, I should say, is Ghibli style of detail, because not all anime is drawn that well.
Yeah,
like it's drawn well, I would say, but not
and
that
certain
quality.
styles. One of the first things I saw was Warriors of the Wind when I was growing up,
heard of that.
and that's Nataka Valley of the Wind, I think, is the actual Japanese version of it. But that's like Princess Mononoke, all that style.
Yeah,
but it was like I think one of the first films from them.
Got it.
And that style just felt so different than a lot of the other anime I was watching. I grew up with Voltron, which is very like cookie cutter, basic.
Yeah.
And when you started doing like the different animations and different feel, like Akira, felt totally different to me because like just the way, the fluidity of the animation.
Have you seen Redline?
I haven't. I'm gonna write these down. Redline.
So Redline is actually like a movie.
Netflix. Where is it? I always go to Netflix first, which is weird because I like
Google it and then I find a streaming site.
Oh, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that after.
You can find anything for free on the internet.
Can you? There's this thing called torrenting too, by the way.
I mean, but that's illegal.
Oh, is it?
But streaming stuff.
Oh, is it?
Technically, it's like.
Oh,
gray
is it though?
area.
We could go there because I have a thing. Wow, there's a lot of audience member. We have one audience member doing a lot of motions. He
has a lot of good reactions. It's true.
So Redline is a 2009 film.
Yeah, it's really good.
Science fiction auto racing anime.
It's really good.
I'm into it.
It's really
good. So
good.
you just use the internet and find it and you'll watch it.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Anime's great. I love it. Have you ever seen Paprika?
I have not.
There's one for you.
Okay, great.
It's about a woman who is like a counselor and she goes into people's dreams.
Ooh.
So there's an old 80s film, which most people listening don't know, but it's called Dreamscape.
Okay.
That's a great film, so go find that somewhere on the internet. And in that film, the person, kind of a psychiatrist, scientist, whatever, goes into other people's dreams.
Got it.
It's a movie. And this is the first, like, other thing that feels like that, where, like, she really goes in and is like, whoa, this is, like, fucked up in here.
Right.
And it's like,
Kinda
it's almost
reminds me
scary.
Of Inception, only
yes.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's definitely scary.
Right.
Because you feel real uncomfortable with the stuff she finds in people's heads.
I mean, that's fair. That's how it should be, honestly.
Right, because our heads are crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure everybody has stuff that they like don't verbalize that is just super messed up.
We're jumping all over the place, but
It's
real
true.
quick, I want to ask you, because we touched on it, how do you find new stuff? So you talked about these animes. People should check out those ones that you mentioned. But how do you find stuff if you're like, okay, I'm going to find some new stuff to check out? How do you do it?
So the only thing that I have right now is Hulu in terms of like paid subscription services. So I'll like scroll through Hulu, see what they have. If there's nothing that catches my fancy, ask friends for recommendations, or I have like a long list of stuff that I need to watch too. So it really depends on what I'm feeling, I guess. I just started watching last night The First, which is a Hulu exclusive. It's not an anime. It's just like live action sci-fi type thing.
Yeah, I think I know that. What's the main guy?
The guy who played Harvey Milk.
Yeah, it's Sean Penn.
Yep, there you go.
Yes.
That guy.
I was excited about that. How is that?
It's really good, but it's definitely so I'm kind of a scaredy cat, and it's got like the tone is very dark, I feel like. And so like last night at 1 a.m. when I was going to bed, I was like, I need to put something else on to put me in a different like tonal space before I go to bed.
Yeah.
It's not that it was like necessarily scary, but you know how like sometimes when you watch things that are, because it's definitely, without giving anything away, like morbid.
Unsettling.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, really interesting. I'll say it deals with death, and so like it's definitely like real life heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But
what's the sci-fi angle then?
So the story is that it centers around the first like ship that is sent to essentially start colonizing Mars.
Okay, I'm listening.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm only 3 episodes in, but the sci-fi stuff isn't super in depth. It's more just sprinkled throughout, and because it's set, I think the time was 2033, so it's like not super far into the future. It's just a little bit like it's in our lifetime, and so there are just subtle differences that you notice, like self-driving cars and like stuff like that. That's pretty cool, and I'm really, really excited to get more into the space portion of it, if that makes sense.
Because they haven't left in episode 3 or something like that.
I mean, yeah, not really.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that there's a lot of I mean, Lost comes to mind. We talked about that on the show before, but like there's a lot of stuff that has these elements of like supernatural, almost back to anime, where it's like something's going on, but also the human drama is really what's pushing the story along.
Totally.
I think that really is kind of an analogy to the anime stuff, because it's like Persona. Do you ever play Persona?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So my ringtone is Persona 5.
Nice.
I love Persona.
Obsessed.
I've cosplayed more Persona characters probably than any other video game.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we'll put a link in the show notes to some of the pictures if you want.
Cool.
Because, Persona is so, it's like that little world that you exist in.
I almost wore a Persona shirt, but then I was like, I almost wore my Tartarus shirt from Persona 3, but then I was like, that's super niche. Nobody will know.
I think pretty much everybody watching would probably know.
Awesome.
But it's okay. You come back on and you can wear something.
There you go.
But yeah, I love the sci-fi stuff that does kind of focus around the drama.
Yeah.
Because then it's still there. And you know, like, at some point they're going to get to that, like,
totally
crazy sci-fi stuff.
Totally.
On YouTube, I'm watching this thing called Love Gilda, which is about Gilda Radner, who is an early SNL person.
I know.
Yeah, and it's really, really good.
Really?
Yeah. I was going to say this is kind of tied to the question I asked you, but I rented it on YouTube, and, like, that's a thing you can do.
What?
Right?
You know what okay, so there's actually something else that I've been doing recently. I've been going to the library and renting movies there, which is super actually nostalgic for me, because I used to rent movies all the time when I was like sick or, you know, with my family, wanting to do a like indoor movie night. And I'm definitely a hermit. Like, I went to the movies last week to see the My Hero movie that was only airing one day. And I was like, man, I really wish I could have watched this in my own home.
Yeah. What theater was that
at? It was in Federal Way.
Okay.
But it's like the funny thing is, it's in those really nice like reclining chairs. But if I'm being honest, I just missed my dog.
It's really about that then. Yeah, no, a lot of theaters have kind of understood that we have incredible TVs at home. We have incredible systems and setups.
Yeah.
So that, like, you got to do something extra to have us come out.
Absolutely.
And be with strangers.
Right.
Why do I want to be with strangers?
Yeah.
You know? But if it's relaxing and you can order food.
Right.
And, like, one of the ones who go in Seattle, they just bring you drinks and food, and, like, they're really quiet and they know how to do it.
Right.
That makes it, you know, kind of worth your while.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely see the appeal of watching movies outside of your home. But I also like to watch movies not necessarily appropriately clothed.
Okay.
So, like...
learning a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't
As
like
in
clothes.
some clothes.
I mean, yeah, like, you know,
loose-fitting
clothes. Yeah,
Yeah,
like, I
awesome.
just don't necessarily...
Pajama bottoms are amazing.
I mean, it's true.
I basically live in those.
Or, like, boxers are great.
I don't wear those.
Okay, I mean, if you're only wearing boxers, like, especially in the summer, it's pretty great.
Okay.
In the winter, though, I'm all about those, like, fleece or flannel. Like,
right, yeah.
Heck of warm.
I live in the pajama bottom world. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as I get home, I'm like, okay, get out of here, pants.
Right? Oh my
and
gosh.
something else has got to come on. Okay, let's make a theater that you can wear your pajama bottoms. 'Cause
Right?
that'd be great.
Well, I mean, like, technically you can. It's just I feel like it would be kind of
Oh, I've worn 'em
frowned
out.
upon.
Yeah, that's true. I've worn them out.
Because, like, I definitely, I share a car. And so if I need the car, I will drive my spouse to work. And then I'll be like, I want a coffee or I want a whatever. And I'll go get that. Like, I have no shame. I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Who cares? Life's too short to care.
Seriously, though.
Check out Love Gilda if you like SNL and Gilda
Definitely
Radner.
will.
It's cool because you can rent it, and it's $7. And, again, you can stay home and wear your pajama bottoms.
There you go.
What a
Living
ad
the
that is.
dream.
I know. And then also I want to tell you about that I mentioned to you on Twitter. Nintendo made another free mobile game
Yeah.
called Dragalia.
And what is that about?
It's an action RPG,
Oh.
right? You can play with one hand, so you're like you have your phone and you go boom, 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 and kind of just tap for attacks
Huh.
and slide for moving.
Weird.
And it's really relaxing and pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I haven't hit like any paywall yet because, like some of those ones where it's like, free.
Huh.
But it feels like pretty darn good because I don't even remember this, but like 2-3 years ago, they said like, oh, yeah, we realized we've got to do mobile games.
Right.
Because they were so like stickler about, no, we just 3DS or Nintendo DS. And so now they've done doing that. They've done a couple.
Right. I know the Animal Crossing one was huge for a minute, or in the
For a minute.
Me, what was that? Me.
Well, Pokemon Go is huge.
Well, Pokemon
still.
Go technically is a Nintendo though. They licensed that
license
out.
It, yeah.
But they did like a
Miitomo.
Miiverse. There, that's
is
what
that right?
Yeah. I was like, there's something
and that
about
was cool
me.
for a hot minute too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Animal Crossing one was really popular for a minute. But like I don't see a whole lot about it on Twitter anymore. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm gauging it off of is when it first came out, everybody and their brother was like, "Oh my God, Animal Crossing!
Right.
I need your friend code or whatever the hell it
Oh,
is."
because people do that still.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's funny because the same thing happened with the Super Mario Brothers game. Remember that was a mobile game, and everyone was like, "We all got to play that," and then we're like, "Oh, that's not very fun." 'Cause you just tap the button for him to jump and.
Oh, was it like a carbon copy of Flappy Bird or whatever?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, he would like auto run and just go. And then
that's
you had to,
obnoxious.
Yeah, it was really stupid. Okay, anyway, so check out Dragalia, though, because I think it's pretty good.
Yeah?
It's a free Nintendo game, and it doesn't make me feel awful about myself.
That's good.
Yeah.
Not feeling awful about yourself is pretty good, I
love
feel
the
like.
lowest barrier to entry that was.
Right?
Listen, this game doesn't make me feel awful.
Yeah.
You should probably check it out.
This game doesn't make me want to stop living.
Are you a Harry Potter person at all?
Yes.
Fantastic Beasts?
Oh my God.
Have you seen the new trailer for The Crimes of Grindelwald?
I haven't seen if there's like a newest one. I am super excited. So I'm actually a Hufflepuff and Newt Scamander's a Hufflepuff and everybody made fun of Hufflepuffs until Fantastic Beasts came out and then everybody else was like, I guess I'm a Hufflepuff and I'm okay with it now.
Nice. Yeah.
But like I really, really dig the world building of the story and how it focuses a lot more on that aspect of it. Not super fond of
Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't. It's funny because the new trailer has not him in it.
Really?
He's literally in like 1 second of that trailer.
So it's not that I don't like Johnny Depp. It's just I've always been kind of a stickler for like famous people. Like I feel like if you're famous enough to where when I see you in a movie, I'm like, oh, that's Johnny Depp.
Right.
You shouldn't be in a movie.
Yeah.
You're too famous to be in a movie because you're no longer the character you're portraying.
Right.
You're Johnny Depp.
Denzel Washington is Denzel Washington. Like he shows up in a million movies about like, I'm going to get him. And he goes and gets him because Denzel Washington is going to get him.
Well, and I feel like there are a couple people that I would give a pass to, like Christopher Walken. Okay.
Oh, come on.
I'll watch anything with Christopher Walken in it.
Yeah.
Who else? Like, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
I'll watch anything
He's
with
also
Samuel L.
just Sam Jackson.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's Nick Fury too, though. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've kind of put him in my mind as Nick Fury.
Yeah, there you go.
I will say this. Yeah, Johnny Depp I liked in so many things, like Fear and Loathing Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But like you said, he's done so many things now. It's like, okay, I'm just thinking about him as that.
Yeah.
And this world that they created, like you said, is so good.
Absolutely.
I really was impressed by Fantastic Beasts. So
Same.
I think everyone should go check it out. It's going to come out in November or something, I think.
Yeah, no, I want to say it's like November 15th or something.
Yeah.
What I'm also really excited for is Venom. I don't know if you.
Yes.
Yeah, that comes out next week, and
Next week?
Yeah, October 5th.
Holy
October
crap.
5th. It looks so good though.
Yeah, they did
and
some
I'm
pretty
just
cool
like,
computer graphics.
I just really like how so whatever the Tobey Maguire, is that his name? Okay. I always feel like I'm like making that name up for some reason.
Topher Maguire?
Right? Like I'm like, I don't know.
Topher Grace and Tobey Maguire.
But I haven't seen the movie in forever, but I just remember being like, okay, so now he's emo, like whatever. And it was weird. But this one, I feel like they're doing it right. And they're making it very clear, like, no, they're two different like beings, but like symbiotically coexisting.
Totally.
And I really enjoy that concept. And I really, the graphics are freaking amazing. And I love how they're kind of making it more of like a thriller. Like in the trailer, they're like, I found something.
So. Yeah, I hope it stays that way because trailers can do that.
Oh, I know. I very much know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to go into it with not high hopes, but like I think it'll be a fun romp, worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we talk about this on the show a lot, about shows, about movies, and even about anything else content-wise, that we don't want to say low expectations.
Right.
But just temper those expectations.
No, absolutely.
Because then when you do that, you're like, whoa, here's a good example. And I've already mentioned it on the show twice, so I apologize for everybody who listened. But Maniac on Netflix is
I don't know what that is.
incredible. And I went in, just look it up,
Okay.
Maniac, Netflix. I went in with like, I know who the director is, I know the people who are writing on it. I am excited, but I'm just going to let myself be like, this might be okay.
Totally.
And it was really good.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot of times it's about expectations.
Absolutely.
So.
I totally agree with that. Like DC movies, I'm probably going to hate. Although I will say, oh my gosh. Okay. So
Aquaman, though?
So Aquaman is my favorite, actually, DC hero and always has been. I know nobody likes Aquaman, but my full name is Ariel, and Ariel, like the Little Mermaid, and I was like, okay, like I was always very aquatic themed, I guess. I don't know.
Did you ever have aquatic birthdays with like a mermaid cake?
No.
Okay, because I feel like you should have.
I mean, really, it's a missed opportunity. Although I do want to do eventually. If I ever get enough money, I want to get one of those like silicone mermaid tails and do like a legit mermaid shoot.
Yes.
Yeah. And I want to like actually get monster clay, and I'm going to sculpt prosthetics. So instead of like just having like a bra top, I'm going to do like starfish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like make it look legit and like, airbrush it and get
cool.
right
one
day. Like,
and then they'll ask you to be in the Aquaman 2 movie.
Probably, yeah. That's how that works.
That's how it works. You just make a good enough cosplay, and they're like, well, that was pretty good. Why don't you be in the next film?
Right.
So you're excited about that DC film?
I mean,
it's ridiculous.
I don't know if I'm going to see it like in theaters because I don't really want to waste my money because I know it's going to be bad. Like DC films are always really shitty.
Yeah.
And which is unfortunate because I really do like DC characters more actually than Marvel characters. But Marvel definitely creates better content. So I end up being more excited about like, Marvel stuff like Venom and Infinity War, and
they just spend so much money. Marvel is like, listen, we're just gonna spend $1 gazillion and make 1,200 films.
Well, I also think that they have good writers and they approach it correctly. Like I just recently bit the bullet and I watched Suicide Squad for the first time ever. And I went into it with extremely low expectations.
So did I. Yep.
I was like, this is going to be the worst thing that I've ever seen, but it'll probably be really fun to talk about. You know what I mean? I was like, this is purely like research, basically. And I watched it with my community, those of them who actually wanted to suffer through it with me.
Right.
And the whole time I was just like, wait a minute, what now? Like, what is happening? I'm confused. And apparently it was edited by a trailer company.
Yes, that's the
and
problem.
that was very evident in
Yep.
the editing process.
It's like it made a killer edit, which you talked about earlier. You can have an incredible trailer, right?
Absolutely.
There's a new Queen movie coming out that I'm really excited
Oh my
about.
God, I'm gonna die. I love that so much.
I'm gonna die too.
I'm so.
We're both gonna die.
I love the I love the actor that they chose
Oh,
for
it's
Freddie
Rami.
Mercury. Yeah, from
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna kill.
Oh, but he looks so much like him, and
I
I'm just
know. By the way, did the young people say? Why do the young people? This is a quick tangent. Why do young people say I'm dead? That's like a new thing, right?
Yeah.
Like when you can't even deal with it. You're like, I'm dead.
You're just
I'm
so
over it.
excited that you're dying.
You're
You're so
dying.
excited that you're gonna die now. Like you physically can't handle the excitement
It's so morbid.
that you're experiencing. Oh yeah, that's our whole generation is so morbid. Like, it's very depreciating jokes. Like, I was like, oh, it's gross. Like, oh, I'm weeb trash. Like that's a normalized phrase now, but it started
Right.
out as a sort of self-depreciating joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's, the whole thing like, oh, I'd rather be dead than do that. Or like you're at work and like people are like,
Just
oh,
kill
if that
me.
happened. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's totally a theme of the generation. And honestly, it probably has to do with like how shitty society,
How the world's
and
going. That's a discussion we have no time for,
Right,
but that's a
that's
really cool
right.
discussion.
But
And depressing at the same time.
absolutely.
To finish our thought, editing and that movie, I 100% agree with you. Editing can make a great trailer like the Queen trailer.
Right.
It can also fucking suck when it comes to a movie.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's what that suffered
Absolutely.
with. Because
Yeah.
there was great characters.
I feel like it really could have been good
Yeah.
had they
Yep.
done it, correctly. But unfortunately, it probably was cheaper to go with a
but
trailer studio.
Jeez. With all that build up, it just seems silly. All right.
For real, though.
We're going to hit questions and answers
All
because
right, let's
this
do
is the
it.
end of the show. Questions and answers. These are the things that I just think about while I'm walking because I walk everywhere.
Oh,
because
cool.
I don't have a car.
Yeah.
New movie trailers. We were talking about that. If you could live in any fictional reality, game, book, or movie, which one would it be and why?
So the one that came right to mind immediately was the My Hero Academia universe.
Oh.
But so the way the universe, just to sort of give you an idea, 80% of the population is born with a quirk, which is essentially some sort of mutant ability. So there's somebody who sweats. They sweat flammable liquids and they can make it explode.
Whoa.
So from their palms, they their sweat is highly flammable and they can make it explode.
Okay.
Somebody's quirk is that they have all the abilities that a frog has. Somebody's quirk is that they can create anything that they understand the molecular composition of. There's a bunch of cool things like that. And then there are people who are quirkless and everybody thinks that they suck, and it's really sad for them.
Quirkless.
Quirkless, yeah. So
yeah.
the percentage of the population that doesn't, and so it's all about hero society and villains in the society. So it's kind of like X-Men in that sense because it's mutations, which they call quirks, and then heroes and villains are born from that. But I really like the dynamic of it all. I think it's really interesting. Talking about it now, it would probably be kind of horrifying to live in.
What would your quirk be, you think?
Oh God, I don't even know.
Would you want a specific quirk or?
I feel like I would kind of just like to know, I would just like to see what I get. But I would hope that it's something somewhat useful. There's this one girl. This is kind of a spoiler, but also kind of not because she's hardly in it. She's more in the manga than anything else. Her name is Himiko Toga, and she's a villain. And her quirk, I like her quirk. I'm gonna pick her quirk.
Okay.
It's the amount you can transform into any person, but dependent on how much of their blood you consume. So
Whoa, that's a vampire.
So if you depending on how much of somebody's blood she consumes, she can transform into that person for a longer and longer period of time. So the more of somebody's blood that she has. And it's she's just such a freaking crazy character. I really like heroes and then really specific villains. It's weird.
Just so you know, I think that's a vampire.
I mean,
because how much blood you consume is. By the way, do you ever see there's this movie called The Last Lovers Alive.
I have not seen
The
that
Last
movie.
Lovers Alive. Everybody listening, The Last, I'm going to make sure it's out. It's probably my favorite vampire movie.
Got it.
And I think no one's seen it. But in that one, they're struggling with the idea that they have to kind of do this whole blood thing. The Last Lovers.
Fair.
Okay, so that's your thing. My Hero Academia is your answer.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the bloodlust.
Yep.
Second question. Why do squirrels cross the road when cars are coming? They do it all the time.
I don't think that squirrels are really cognizant of cars necessarily. I think that, it's quite possible that squirrels wait for cars, but there are just so goddamn many of them. Not the squirrels, but the cars, that they're just like, oh, fuck it. I need to get over there where my nuts are. It's true.
They're going towards the nuts.
They gotta.
I watched one today, and this is why this came up, and he clearly could, or she could have clearly waited because the car, there's a stopping point when cars aren't going anymore.
Right.
I'm wondering if they have like a sense deprivation thing or something, because I was like, he went right when the car was going and just made it. It's
possible that they just don't have the memory capacity to really store that information.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of animals don't really understand unless it happens to them the consequences of getting hit by a car.
Until it's too late.
And for a squirrel, when it's too late, you're dead. So
if your squirrels are listening to the podcast,
don't run in front of cars.
Don't run in front of cars.
It's a really bad idea.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's really stupid. We're judging you for that right now.
Oh, I'm judging all the squirrels. And by the way, that squirrel that I saw today made it. So he's fine.
So he's listening right now.
Yeah.
Or she.
Yeah, I know. It could be he or she.
Yeah.
There's a lot of female squirrels? I wonder what the ratio is.
I have no idea. It's probably close to 50-50 because that's, how nature tries to do things, I feel like.
Patreon.com/Kupakins. That's where you are.
It's true.
Where else are you on the internet?
Twitter.com/Kupakins, Instagram.com/ I'm Kupakins basically everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm revamping my YouTube. I used to be on Twitch. Sort of a short blurb about that. I just feel like Twitch's work life is really a negative environment. A lot of Twitch streamers that I know, they stream 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they're not even making minimum wage, but they're partnered. And I went out of town for 2 weeks, and I didn't stream for those whole 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my god, this is what real life is,
right?
And
then also, like you said, and even with this podcast, we do maybe 1 or 2 shows a week, but if you don't keep that content up,
exactly. With Twitch, if you don't keep that content up every single day, pretty much, you lose your traction. And for me, that's just too toxic of an environment to work in, because then it's if you're sick, if you're whatever, and you feel like you don't want to stream, you have to really have cultivated a good community already, a good sizable community that will still be there, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
And I just personally, I still talk to my community. I have a Discord and everything like that, and I super appreciate them. But also, I want to focus on cosplay and things that aren't going to drive me insane, like the Twitch algorithm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the Twitch and the YouTube algorithm that we're dealing with, it's this whole crazy thing. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Love to have you come back.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk more cosplay. Maybe when you get those different outfit made, the mermaid.
Oh gosh, that's gonna be a while.
We can do it in studio.
There you go.
Because that would be really interesting and awkward.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Yeah, never mind. And thanks for being here. And I'm Onawa on Twitter, ONAWA, and A Lot of Things Pod is our Twitter. YouTube.com/C/A lot of things. And thanks for watching and listening.
Bye.
Bye.